Of course, this has really influenced the teaching that now goes on in the music establishments. I mean, the students have such a wonderful diet of musical styles and all sorts of things, the instruments, the combinations, the possibilities and so on, which is so, so rich nowadays.
I think that's really, really important, Evelyn, and I'm so glad you picked up on that, because I have when I started at the academy, and certainly when I got to be head of department, my big thing was, well, when we were kids, when we were starting out at the academy, what would have been my kind of dream team to have had in the department, sort of teaching all the various things? Because as you know, you had Jimmy Blades and Nick Cole, and there were some fantastic teachers, but the actual teachers tended to be, there were only a few of them. And you'd get the occasional specialist who would come in, I don't know, once a year, something like that. And I just thought it was time that we offered this to run in tandem with everything else, to get great soloists in, great marimba soloists, great percussion soloists, fantastic kit players, amazing vibraphone players. I think amazing baroque timpanists. I think you have to have all that. And I think you have to give that to the students and just go, now, where do you want to go with it? But to give them that broad spectrum of musical styles in which to try and express themselves is absolutely what we have to do. So I've always really believed in that. And I think it's important. And yes, I probably go a little bit too far towards the jazz side sometimes, but that's kind of my passion. So, I think as long as you're communicating that you're passionate about these things, I think that can be often the best way of communicating, full stop.
It's true, and I think this passion, both on and off the stage, that you ooze is just so infectious. It really is, and I think that's why you've really influenced an awful lot of people, myself included. There's always this sense of curiosity and ooh, what's that all about? Or ooh, I could, as you say, this past year, you've really, attended to your playing, perhaps more than what you've been able to do in the past because of all the traveling and the administration and all sorts of things that have to it's all part of the job, as it were. I mean, one of the things that the LSO has really shown, certainly I've noticed, and maybe it's just me picking up on it now, but is that there's a real sense of getting to know the players. And this has obviously helped through social media. And, you have some wonderful YouTube videos, introducing parts of repertoire or some of the instruments. And then, of course, the wonderful LSO percussion section coming together as an ensemble and just playing some wonderful music. Sometimes it's in the jazz style, sometimes it could be Steve Reich or more contemporary, whatever it is. Yeah. But do you think social media has played a big part in reaching out to the audiences as far as the orchestra, as far as the individual members of the orchestra?
Without doubt, Evelyn. Social media has, I think, exploded the orchestras in an incredibly positive way, because as I said, when I first saw the LSO on the TV on Andre Previn's Music Night, we couldn't suddenly get onto the internet and then research everybody's play. So there was always an area of, a little bit of a mystique about orchestral playing, and that it was fairly anonymous because we walk onto the stage, you've got the funny suit on, the whole thing. And I think if social media has done anything but to actually bring this human element, that we're just normal people at the end of the day who love playing music in an orchestra, and that's what we want to do. So if social media has made us more familiar, or just given an insight into what we might do or think, or even just to talk like we're doing at the moment, or to to maybe offer maybe some advice on a particular piece of music, I think that's all really, really good. You mentioned my fantastic colleagues in the LSO in Sam Walton and David Jackson, and I can't say anything other than it's just an absolute treat to come to work every day, knowing, again, this is a recurring theme with me, that I'm working with such talented individuals on a daily basis. All orchestras are full of talented individuals. That's why they're there. And it never ceases to amaze me that I can sit down and I won't really be having much to play, but I'll still have a fantastic time just being blown away by the sheer talent and virtuosity of my colleagues. And David and Sam fall into that category really, really well. And it's a pleasure to work with them. So what we decided to do, that the whole percussion ensemble thing came about, was because our brilliant managing director, Catherine McDowell, said, well, why don't you put a CD out on the LSO Live label and let's see what happens. And so we decided to do, it was Steve's 80th. So we decided to put a Reich CD out. Now, you know, and I know that there are lots of fantastic Steve Reich CDs out there, and we were just doing it because we love the music. It went out on LSO Live. Well, who knew it became like one of the best-selling CDs in the LSO Live catalog, particularly in America. So we were going, what just happened?
Incredible.
And then as a result of that, Catherine came back and said, well, where do you want to go with the next one? And again, with my jazz sensibilities, I was sort of pretty secure in my feeling that I wanted to take it in a certain direction. And then, of course, we invited back, again, another great friend of yours, fantastic Simon Carrington, who used to be, was my colleague in the LSO for so many years. He was able to arrange some of these classic pieces by Chick Corea and Makoto Ozoni that just sort of worked for mallet ensemble. So two vibes, two marimbas, I think worked really, really brilliantly. So again, we did that. We put that CD out, and again, Chick, who, as you know, sadly died recently, but we spent some time with him, and he absolutely loved it. He's a complete marimba nut, Chick. He loved it. In fact, there's some. I remember going to see a duo concert with Chick and Gary Burton, and Chick started playing the marimba. I mean, he just loved it, absolutely loved it. So. Again, to have those opportunities and to play with such amazingly talented players, it's a joy to go to work. It really is.
Absolutely, and as you say, it does bring this sort of human element to the audience. I mean, I've loved watching the ensemble work through YouTube, because you think, oh, I recognize those people, or I've met those people, or oh, I remember those people, but there's just something quite special, coming all together and just providing incredible music, really. And so thanks for that, and all credit to the LSO for giving the sections within the orchestra those opportunities, to actually create these recordings and to get them out, to the public. So that's really important.